Hello, ladies and gentlemen. This is Mrs. Leeson, and I'm here to do a flipped lesson with you. And the lesson that we're talking about today is 2.1b lesson, adding integers using a number line. So if you don't already have this lesson out, please pause the video right now, take out your blank lesson pages, and you're going to listen along as I narrate a couple of the problems and then try them yourself. So again, if you don't have the lesson out yet, please pause the video and start it again when you're ready with a pencil and your module. Okay, so if you are ready, I'm just going to start reading along, and remember where we started here with adding integers was chip and tile models and talking about additive inverses. So we're going to be taking the next step into modeling, which is adding integers using a number line. Previously, you used a chip model for addition of integers. In this activity, you will explore a number line model for adding integers. Model each of the following with both a number line and chips, and state the sum. All right, the first example says -5 plus 4. And you can see on the number line, it's all been set up here for you, we go from -20 to +20. We always start addition problems at 0 on the number line. So make a dot at 0 above the line on the number line, and move 5 steps to the left. So -5 is 5 steps to the left. We're going to show that movement with an arrow, and we're going to stop that arrow at -5. Above that line, we're going to add 4. So we start with a dot above -5. We add 4 steps to the right, 1, 2, 3, 4, and we end here at this point. Oops. Like my point with my dot with a tail. And here I am trying to be perfect, which I can't be, and neither can you. So we'll just do our best. Okay, so there is the sum, and our solution is the sum, and this solution to this problem is -1. So just to recap, I started at 0. The first number says 5 steps to the left. I drew an arrow 5 steps to the left. Above that endpoint, I added 4 steps going to the right because it's positive. Where I end is my solution, or my sum, and my sum is -1. I put a dot on my solution, and I label that point on the number line. If we were to make chips, it would be the same idea. We would start with the first number, which is 5 negative tiles. And these are negative, so we're going to shade these in. And this is the best I can do on my screen. I'm going to shade with a pencil. And when we add the 4 positives, those 4 positives are going to line up below the negatives, so we can see which number came first in the addition problem. And now we're going to circle the 0 pairs. You can circle them each individually, or because they line up so nicely here, you can circle those 4. The remainder, what is outside of the circle, is our sum. It's 1 negative tile, so the sum is -1. Okay, so I have done the example with you. Please use my example to do numbers 1 and 2. So pause the video now. You will do numbers 1 and 2 on your own. When you're finished with 1 and 2, turn the video on again to hear or see my answers. Okay, pause the video now. Okay, welcome back. I hope you did numbers 1 and 2 on your own. You can see the solution to number 1. I start at 0, go 7 steps to the right, put a dot above 7, go 3 steps to the left. My sum is 4, which I plot on the number line. And in the chip model, the 7 goes first. 7 unshaded tiles, which are positive. 3 shaded tiles, which are negative. I've created 3 0 pairs by adding a positive and a negative tile to create 3 zeros. And my leftovers are 4 positive tiles. There's more positive tiles than negative tiles, so my answer is positive, and the answer is +4. For number 2, I've listed 5 different ways, or 5 different ways that they're related. You may have different answers, but I really need you to think deeply about these. I have said the following. On both number line and chip models, you can see the order of the problem, which number comes first in the addition problem. Positives are not shaded tiles, and they move to the right on the number line. Negatives are shaded tiles. They move to the left on the number line. The overlap on the number line corresponds to the 0 pairs in the chip model, and the sum is the leftovers. And what I mean by that, leftovers, these are the leftovers here in the CHIP model, and this is the leftovers on the number line model. So anything that you don't have here or anything that you need to correct, you can pause the video in a second. I'm going to give you your assignment first. Your assignment is to turn the page and do the following problems. It's basically the entire page. Do numbers 3 through 8, and you will see vertical number lines and horizontal number lines. They work the same way. When you're finished with number 8, which is at the bottom of the next page, please start the video again to see if you got the answers right. So please pause the video now and do numbers 3 through 8 on the next page. Okay, let's see how you did. So I'm going to scroll down here, which isn't always the easiest thing to do. There we go. All right, circle the operation you're going to perform. Folks, that instruction is so that you pay attention to whether you're adding or subtracting, which we will be subtracting starting next week. Solve using a number line and state the sum. Number 3, I start at 0. I go 6 steps to the right and then 3 steps to the left, ending with a dot on the number line and labeling the sum of -3. For number 4, I start at 0. I go down 3 steps for -3, down 9 more steps, ending at -12. Dot on the number line, and the numbers are all on the left of the number line, so that's where my sum goes. Number 5, 9 plus -25. I start at 0, go up 9, and from that point I go down 25, ending at -16. Dot on the number line and label the sum. The last 3, 6 plus -6, start at 0, go to +6, go backwards to -6 to the left, end at 0. Number 7 is 9 steps to the left plus 8 steps to the right, ending at -1, dot on the number line. Number 8, 20 steps to the right starting at 0, 8 steps to the left, with a ending at +12. And again, taking a look at number 8, remember, you're always thinking about this. Are there more negatives or more positives? There's more positives. There's 20 positives, only 8 negatives, which means that I will have more positives and my sum will be positive. So there's so many different ways of thinking of this. I'm just going to keep reminding you of those ways. All right, let's turn the page. On the next page, we have some context problems, and the directions are slightly different. It says for each of the following, and I'm reading the next page directions. A, use the number line to model the problem situation. B, answer the question in context. C, write an addition expression to show the sum, state the sum. And D, explain how the model is related to how you found the answer in part B. All right, so let's take a look at number 9, the problem about the osprey. This is my favorite problem. An osprey flies off the ground and reaches 35 feet above a river when he sees a trout. He then dives down 37 feet to get the trout. How many feet below the water does he end up? So reading the problem again, 35 feet above the river is a positive number. Diving down 37 feet is a negative number. How many feet below the water does he end up? The word below tells me my answer is going to be negative. So let's double check the work. I start at 0 at the ground, I, the osprey, and I'm going to go up 35 feet. Then, seeing the trout, I dive down 37 feet. So I go 35 and 2 more, ending at -2, which is 2 feet below the water. So that's part A. Part B, answer the question in context. How many feet below the water does he end up? The osprey will be 2 feet. Notice I got my units there, below the water when he grabs the trout. All right, part C says write an addition expression to show the sum. I started with 35 in a positive direction. I added 37 negatives. In the opposite direction, my sum was -2. And I am going to skip part D and let you do the same. All right, so if you need to play back what I just went over, if I went too fast, if I went too slow, you do what you need to do. Your assignment now is to complete number 10 at the end of this page, and then turn the page and do number 11 following the same model. Number 10 and number 11, and then I will work a couple of the last problems with you. So pause the video now to do 10 and 11 using my model. All right, let's see how you did. Number 10, you can take a look at my number line. I start at 0. I go up 47 units, and then from there I go up another 18 units, ending at 65. I have a dot on the number line. It's already labeled 65. Part B, the speed limit is 65 miles per hour. C, my addition problem is 47 plus 18. The sum is 65, and we're skipping part D. Again, if you need to pause the video for any reason to make any changes, feel free to do so. On the next page, number 11, I'm working it, pulling down this cursor. Sorry, folks. Here we go. Number 11, you ride your bike 12 miles from home and get a flat tire. Luckily, your mom is there. She comes to the rescue. While you're waiting, you're walking. So you start at 0, head 12 units to the right in the positive direction, turn around and walk back towards your house 4 miles. Your mom arrives to save the day when you're 8 miles away from home. So you're 8 miles from your house. The addition problem, and again these are all addition, is 12 plus negative 4, and the sum is 8. Okay, so moving on to the last kinds of problems. These are evaluate problems, and I know many of you know how to do these, but you don't know the kind of work that I need you to show. So that's what I'm here to show you. I'm going to show you how to do number 12, evaluate each expression showing at least 2 lines of work to get to your final answer. So I'm going to do problem A with you, show you what I'm looking for, and then I'm also going to do problem D. Please copy the work as I show it, and then you're going to be doing the rest on your own. Letter A, 8 plus negative 3 equals 2. So there's many ways to do this work. I like to underline the numbers that I'm working with, and I tend to go left to right unless there's a reason not to. So I'm first going to get the sum of 8 plus negative 3. There's more positives than negatives. There's 5 more positives than negatives, so that sum is 5. And then I'm going to bring down the plus 2. And now I just add 5 plus 2 is 7. So there's my 2 lines of work. And notice the problem gets shorter and shorter until it gets to the answer. In line D, problem D, negative 1 1/4 plus 8 1/2. And I know many of you are thinking decimals. Here's the rule of thumb that you use for all of my lessons. If I give you a fraction, you use a fraction. And we've talked about this before. You're not going to be good at fractions unless you do them. So this is negative 1 1/4 plus 8 1/2. We need a common denominator. So I'm going to first change this to negative 5/4 plus 17 halves. And I'm going to have to change the halves to fourths, so I have a common denominator. This is 34 over 4. My denominator's the same, so I'm ready to go. Negative 5 plus 34 is 29, and there's my answer. Done. You do not need to change that into a mixed number. It is completed. All right, no calculator on these problems. No calculator on this entire lesson. No calculator in this module. You have to get your skills down. Would you please finish B through F? So pause the video, finish these on your own. When you're finished with B through F, start the video and see if you got them right. Time to pause the video. Okay, folks, here are the answers to B, C, E, and F, but it's not just about the answers, it's about how you show your work. You can see on B that I chose to add 75 and negative 175 first. On C, I chose to add the 2 negatives together first. And I have some margin work for C. And I do the margin work over on the side in the margin. E, I added the 2 positives and did some margin work. And F, I just worked from left to right. All right, I'm running out of time. I have 8 seconds. And I'm going to say thank you and goodbye. I hope you enjoyed your first flipped lesson.